Oh, we nipple.
Hello. Please, I really hope that makes you in. Welcome to the spoiler review. Spoiler, say it with me, boys. Spoiler review of Jurassic World. Not the non-spoiler review, that's in the description. This is the spoiler review. It says so in the title, it says so in the description. And the three of us, say it with me, boys, spoiler, are saying it now. You are firmly in don't say we didn't warn you territory. So, the spoiler review of Jurassic World. We've all seen it. You saw it first.
I did.
And you warned us, didn't you?
I certainly did, because this is a dumb movie, as I assume you've probably already gone over. It's a very silly film, and yet it tries to be kind of serious in places.
I want to say thank you to you, first of all, because I had allowed myself in the build-up to this movie to get a bit carried away because there's dinosaurs, and I love dinosaurs. And then you and a few other people came out and went, oh, it's not very good, so... Yeah. I readjusted my expectations to, okay, big, stupid dino fun.
Yes.
Went in, expecting that, got that, thoroughly enjoyed it.
You know what? I had the exact same expectations. I went into it thinking, I really want to like this. I didn't like Jurassic World so much, but dino fun, and this starts out so well. That opening scene where the dude gets, like, wrecked, and they go back to Jurassic World. The dude gets wrecked by the Indominus Rex, no less, and that was cool, and that sort of set the tone for me for a movie I didn't get. I wanted that sort of wacky dino fun, and then... For me, you get that in the first half, but then it completely falls apart in the second half. Once they go to the mansion, and then the action is just there.
When they go to the mansion for the second time?
Yes.
It's pretty much the entire second half of the movie, though. We just talked about this in the non-spoiler review, because this is the spoiler review, that it kind of spends very little time in Jurassic World itself.
Yeah, which is a shame, in my opinion. I like the idea of going around a dilapidated Jurassic World, seeing more of the park. I mean, as you said in the first... roundtable, that you don't even see much of Jurassic World in the first Jurassic World.
No.
Like, you want to see more of the parts of the park where the guests are, and I'd like to have seen that in, because you only see the main street of Jurassic World, don't you? That's pretty much it, and then some of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Well, in this one, they revisit, the main thing you see of the park is the bit with the visitor centre and the main street with all the shops on in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only bit of the park you see in this one. They drive up there, oh, there's a nice brontosaurus, or possibly a brachiosaur, I don't know, what am I, a nerd? And that's it. They go to the little satellite thing, all the stuff happens, and then they go back to the dock and leave.
Yeah, you know what though, if I can praise this movie for one thing, it's that it made me nostalgic about a film that only came out 3 years ago and I didn't like. When they were walking around Jurassic World, it was all like that, and it was blowing up. I was like, man, I have a strange connection to this place I visited once and didn't really care about.
Yeah.
In the Extinction event that's happening on
the same with York.
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
So it can happen.
The Extinction event that's happening on the island, I thought was like really well done. Like the first half of this film for me is by far the best. Like when they're running away from like the volcano, it's daft and it's stupid and it's over the top and the CGI isn't great. But like the idea of being able to see dinosaurs going extinct like on such a scale.
That felt like it should have been the end of the... Not like, I don't mean like when you were watching it, it felt like the end. I mean, it felt like that would have been a far better set piece for the end of the film.
Yes.
If they'd spent the whole film there, that would have been...
I think they certainly kind of blow their load a little bit towards like the midpoint. That's
literally like a volcano.
Literally like a volcano. That's as high as the spectacle gets for me, I think. I think it's all kind of downhill from there. And there's a cool couple ideas in the second half, which I'm sure we'll get to. But for me...
I think they could have preemptively, before we go into the second half in more detail, I think they could have easily chopped this in half and made the first half of this Jurassic World 2 and then the latter half Jurassic World 3.
Yeah, like they do feel like two
they
very
could have padded
both
things out a bit more, put some more depth into them, and had two more solid films.
There's kind of it's a bit of a reveal that they really need Blue.
Yeah.
And that could genuinely have been the plotline that carried a whole second version of the film. Them trying to find Blue in the ruins of Jurassic World, navigating the various pitfalls, the various other dinosaurs, all the while there's this lingering threat. Because, I mean, the volcano's in it for 20 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's bubbling when they get there, then it explodes a few minutes later and they leave. That had been the lingering threat the whole way through. Race against time. And then at the end, you find out the reason they needed Blue was because of this Indominus... This Endor Raptor.
Nice little twist.
That would have been like, at the end, like, oh my god, they've... Because then you would have had an entire other film which wasn't just about another genetically engineered dinosaur.
Yes.
It would have felt very different, very fresh. Would have felt kind of the same way they tried to make the Lost World feel like this basically adventure out of time. They try to take the sort of technology element out of it. They try to take the park out of it, despite it being set in the park. It would have been a nice little thing for that. But no, they just crammed it all into one film.
And I guess you do sort of get glimpses of that when they do go to the island. A lot of the tech is like ruined and they can't use it. It does feel like kind of like, oh, I'm out of time, sort of.
Mind you, was it 3 years? Was it meant to be 3 years?
I think so. I guess, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like you went past the monorail and had about 100 years worth of like moss and like overgrowth on it.
I'm sure it's like explained somewhere, but all the dinosaurs are just skeletons now. You know, like they completely decomposed. But whatever, I suppose.
It was weird.
There could have been a great movie, like you said, of the volcano about to erupt, because they seem to get there on the last day. Like, they push this rescue op for as far back as it can get, and then it's like, oh god, this volcano is exploding, and we're going to die if we don't get off in 5 minutes.
It was kind of weird, because they're like, oh, we've already caught some of the big herbivores. All right, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and then all of a sudden they managed to just... If you think about, again, the second Jurassic Park film, what a chew on it was to try and catch that T-Rex. And then they just... Remember, the T-Rex saves them, and then again, one just wanders off for no apparent reason. And then 30 seconds later, it's in a big cage on a helicopter being flown to the boat.
A lot of the dinosaurs just sort of wander off in this movie. They just don't seem to.
We've just said this in the non-spoiler review. This is my biggest bugbear with, and it's every single film since Jurassic Park. In the first one, you had this idea that every dinosaur was incredibly important. There was a reverence to it. There was a terror to it, or a beauty to it. Like the bits where they first see the brachiosaurs, brilliant, mind-blowing. The bit where they find the ill Triceratops, they spend time like showing you like how magnificent this creature is. The raptors, terrifying in every scene. Every time the T-Rex is about, it's the scariest thing in the world, even when you only hear it.
Yeah.
In this one, as soon as they're done with whatever it needs to do in the scene, it's just the T-Rex eats your dude at the end. And then walks away a bit, and everyone just quite happily just walks out of the house, like watching a T-Rex. You can see a T-Rex.
But that's only so bad because the movie is kind of trying to drive a point of look at these animals and like we want to save them. They're so cute and they're so good and like my god we can't kill them off. And then like you say they just sort of forget about it when they have to because the T-Rex just walks away at the end. He's just like, oh well, I've killed the bad guy. I've done my job.
Yeah.
Second film in a row, the T-Rex just rocks up, kills the bad guy, and leaves.
Yeah. He's like they do try to inject some tension into it in scenes where like Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are trying to get the blood out of it to help Blue when Blue is dying. But that's the only sort of modicum of tension in this whole movie from like the dinosaurs themselves.
Yeah.
Like you all the way through, even when the volcano's exploding.
Chris Pratt jumps through its mouth. That was one of the things that in the trailers I was like,
See, that's the wacky fun I came here for.
That's what this is going to be.
That is the wacky fun I came here for.
You can imagine when they came down and envisaged a list of little set pieces they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Some of them sounded quite fun. And then I would, if I made that film, because I mean, quite often now, someone might correct me if I'm wrong, but quite often now, don't they give the film to a third party to cut the trailer for?
Yeah, usually.
Isn't it like an entire different...
Yeah.
I would have kicked the door down of that company and I would have knocked out of every single person who'd done that trailer. So that's my film. That's literally my film you've given away.
It's again even more annoying because the first trailer was really good because it only revealed anything from the first act. It was all on Jurassic World, and then the rest of them were like, "Oh, we'll show you this whole movie and every little cool bit." T-Rex roaring with the lion in the trailer. That's exactly
Mosasaur going after the surfer.
Just
in the trailer.
Done.
Indominus Rex getting out in the trailer.
That was the one that annoyed me the most. I was waiting for that all the way through the film, and then it just happens at the end, just context free. It's just the Indominus Rex is there while surfers are doing their thing.
The Mosasaur.
Was it? I
yes.
Can't remember. Oh god. Oh, the Indominus Rex is dead. I've
Dinosaurs.
already missed. I don't know it. Nerds.
You called the Mosasaur the Indominus Rex at the start as well.
Did I actually?
Yeah, you did. I didn't want to say anything at the time, but it'll already be in the comments.
Oh god.
Nerd.
There is a lot to like though in this movie. I would say the set pieces, like you said, are good, isolated. I think Jay Bione brings a lot to this movie. Have you seen the film Impossible, which is kind of gritty and it deals with sort of natural disasters?
Trying to redeem himself by knowing the names of the
people. This is my one perk.
I didn't write any of that down. So
there is the scene where Bryce Dallas Howard and one of the horrible supporting cast members who were introduced in this movie, they go
Which
over
one?
the...
Which one? All the names are here.
It's the guy, I don't even know.
Franklin Webb.
Oh,
Get it.
What a
Get it. He's a hacker. Franklin Webb.
He's a hacker man.
Webb. Get it.
Yeah, there's a cool scene where they're in one of the spheres from the first movie and it barrels over the edge and they can't get out and like water's coming in.
The bit from the trailer.
The bit from the trailer. It's all one shot and it's really cool, but the best things in this movie are context free and you don't need the rest of the movie to make them work.
Almost like why they were put in trailers.
Almost.
While we're talking about the trailers ruining everything, the one thing which didn't even make it is a hint into the trailers is the subplot of the granddaughter of Benjamin Lockwood's granddaughter, who is revealed at the end is a complete human clone of his dead daughter.
Yeah.
Now, that was genuinely a lovely little twist, I thought, because they sort of teased the idea of who was her mother the whole way through. And I think I said to you after we saw it, I thought it was going to be Lex from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And because, like, they call Hammond grandfather, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just thought maybe it'd be, like, he was just a surrogate grandfather to them, like, because they were so close, him and Lockwood, his grandchildren effectively became his grandchildren. I thought it would be revealed that that was actually, but no, she was just a complete human clone, which I genuinely, the one bit of praise I'm going to give the storytelling in this film, if they wanted to do the bit at the end where the little girl releases the thing and everybody gets out, the only way they could do that is if it made sense, because it was stupid. They had to die.
Yes.
They had to die. But she says, I had to let them live. They're alive, just like me.
Yeah.
Because she'd been told that she was a genetic clone of her mother, and she realised that the same signs that had made her were the same signs that made them, and she couldn't just let them die, because if she let them die, and it was very heavy for what was effectively a 6-year-old, I was meant to be, if she didn't value their lives, why should anybody value hers?
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, the payoff for that, the build-up to that whole little thread where you're wondering about who she is and all this, for that to pay off the end, that was brilliantly done.
Yeah.
I really don't want to clash with you here, Adam Cleary, but I thought that was, I thought on paper that sentiment is perfect. It works well in the script. I think it's executed pretty poorly in the actual movie, just because I think that, I don't want to rock on like a child actor, but I feel like the way that was like sort of delivered in the context of the narrative wasn't given the weight it needed for it to work.
Oh, I felt it.
Right.
I think the reason was because, obviously, with my diminished expectations that I
Yes.
went in with, when I realised that was the one narrative which I didn't know what was, I hadn't seen the bit where she finds out. Amazingly, they didn't put it in the trailers where he just says, "You're a clone." So I was hanging on to that. I was like, what if that's the thing? I thought she was going to turn out to be part dinosaur.
Honestly, I really thought that was where it was going at one point.
That a part of her was put into the Endor Raptor or something.
Yeah.
You know, they say it's the Endor Raptor is the combination of the two deadliest creatures to ever walk the earth, and the implication is it's the Indominus Rex and a raptor.
Yeah.
I was like, well, hang on, Raptor's already part of the Indominus Rex. What's the other most deadly creature? Oh, it's man.
I was really
it's
hoping
man.
that
her.
that element of man would mean that at the point when Chris Pratt has got it cornered in her bedroom, that because there's like part of blue in the raptor, that he could do something, and the raptor would like the blue part of the raptor would be like, oh wait, that's Chris Pratt. Oh, I like you.
Give it a treat.
Yeah.
Is what are your guys' opinions on the Endor Raptor itself? I thought it was sort of wasted a little bit.
Again, if the thing we just said, if the entire second film had been, you know, not about another genetically engineered scary dinosaur, that would have been a great thing for the third film. But it was just, here is, you remember the big scary one from the first one? Here it is, but smaller.
A bit like Blue, you know?
A bit like Blue,
resonant.
It's worth more, apparently. They're going to sell it.
Again, I can see why it works in the narrative, because that's sort of like an abomination, a man-made, like a man playing God.
We just did that, though. We just did
exactly,
that.
That's what I mean. That's why it doesn't work, because we've seen this before in the last movie. And even though you've got the sort of pro-dinosaur message of this, of like, let nature take its course, and you know we've made these, so just let them like go. It doesn't work because we've seen it done better before, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm going to go with that entirely. But still, and we did this in the non-spoiler review, we have just ragged on it effectively 15 minutes, but it is still bloody good dino fun. You just have to know going in that all you're getting is bloody good dino fun. Rich, any further thoughts?
Spoilery wise, not really. I think we've covered most of the stuff both in the spoiler free and the spoiler full review. So
I'd say the ending, as dumb as it is delicious and tantalising for a Jurassic World 3 if it should be made. The idea of what was sort of promised in the trailers for this movie, of the dinosaurs finally being out in the wild and just, you know, in your backyard, that is cool. What do you guys think about that? I think
we did dinosaurs in your backyard, though, in Jurassic Park 2. T-Rex ate the dog, and then drank out the pool.
Yeah, I was supposed to have done everything before, haven't we? Yeah, I guess. This is on a much larger scale, I suppose. This is actually Jurassic World, I suppose, what they've been building to. Not sort of just segmented. This is like us and them cohabitating.
Do you know what this film made me really want? Either a dinosaur-themed video game, possibly a Dino Crisis remake for like a modern console, or just another dinosaur film that's not trying to go after like the theme park audience. It's not trying to go after like the PG rating.
Yeah.
Like just something that presents. Because see, I'm old enough to remember this. You two won't. When Jurassic Park first came out, it was national news when it got its certificate. Because there'd been like a year of build up to it, because obviously it came out in America like ages ago. There'd been a year of build up to it over here. We'd all had the sticker book in school like 7 months before the film came out, and there was talk that it was going to be a 12, and that was going to basically like take half of its audience away, because there's bits where people get eaten and the dinosaurs terrifying, and it was literally the top story on the 9 o'clock news that night. Jurassic Park has a PG certificate, and there was like celebration because all the kids could go and see Jurassic Park this summer. Now, I want to see a dinosaur film where there's genuine debate about what its certificate should be.
That would be cool. And to be honest, I think they sort of pushed that a little bit in this one. Like, there's
they definitely tried to put more
blood in this.
horror tropes into the second act, into the second and third act, the second half of the film.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, I mean, it's still constrained, like what you said, by like the franchise and like getting bums in seats at the end of the day.
The thing is, I got that, the bit, especially the bit in the bedroom, which again you've seen in the trailers, where he's reaching forward, but that seemed specifically tailor-made to just scare little kids at bedtime. Yeah. Like, when you compare that to like some of the bit where like the kitchen scene in Jurassic Park, where they're trying to crawl around, you're terrified. You are terrified of that. The bit where the T-Rex is standing on the car, that's terrifying.
It's
for all ages.
For all ages, but if I was a kid watching this, I was thinking that all the way through. If I was a kid watching this, it felt like a movie I watched growing up, and they don't get made anymore for better or mostly for worse, because like it felt like one of those 90s disaster movies. It felt a bit like Godzilla at places, which is quite damning.
That's not unfair.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but I know what you mean, like the terror of like Spielberg, the way Spielberg shot those scenes in the kitchen and stuff. That's paid lip service to here, but it's just...
There was about a million nods to the first Jurassic Park film. The bit where he gets into the car, it's getting stood on, the bit where she's trying to pull the thing down. Yeah. I've lost count of them all, but there are about, I would say, in the region of 15 to 20 direct nods and winks to the first Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah. Which I guess Jurassic World had a lot of too, but that was sort of done in a very knowing way of like, oh, look, we're going to build on top of this legacy rather than just repeat it, where I thought this was just repeating it.
This is well, yeah, I guess.
In a way.
I guess. They would, I imagine filmmakers would say it was an homage.
Yes.
But, you know, it's just kind of not having your own ideas, isn't it, lads? Anyway, yeah. That's it, really, Josh. Overall rating?
I guess like 2.5 out of 5.
That's
probably
fair. Rich?
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I said this in the non-spoiler one. I think there's a 3 in it. If you go in expecting a 3 out of 5 movie, you can have that kind of enjoyment. Yeah. If you go in expecting a 4 or a 5, you'll think it's a 1 or a 2. But yeah, there we go. Their official What Culture Jurassic World rating. What we're going to average that out as 2.7 out of 5.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, half marks, which is fine. It's just a trip to the cinema. Lighten up. What do you want? Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Josh, you're going to have to duck down because the subscribe button's about to appear above your head. If you're not already subscribed and for some reason this has persuaded you to do so, then do smash your face off that. Why not? And you can also watch one of the videos appearing around our nipples right now. Regardless, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This has been...
Rich.
And you.
Josh.
And I've been Adam. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.
This was the spoiler review.
Spoilers.